All right, hello everybody. This is Mr. Goodrow here. I am coming to try to make sure you guys have a couple other tips that you're going to need for sure once you're finished your animation to get it from that to turn in ready. So I have pulled up my Blender workspace right here. You see I have my animation. I have my keyframes all keyed up, and I have all of my different transformations in here, and it should be ready to go. At the end of this video, I'm going to have a little bit of tips on what to do with like reflections, and I'm going to try to put the chapters down below on the YouTube. So if you want to, on YouTube, if you want to scroll along the bottom and see the different chapters, if that helps you out, you can do that. I hope you all watch it all and that helps you out. But we have my animation right here. While I was working on it, I realized there was times I had to add pauses. So if you look here, let's kind of scroll over. I have added times where my cube isn't doing anything. So the first thing I have is a translation, and you see from 30 frames to about 50 frames, it's not doing anything. That is because I want it to just have like a buffer when I'm editing it, so I can go in there and cut it up when I'm putting in my editing program to put it all together. So you can see right here from about 70 frames to 90 frames, it's not doing anything. That way I have a little bit of a buffer when I'm done to edit it from there. So first tip is add a buffer frame in between stuff, so that way you can edit it and have some stuff on both sides. The second thing is I actually had to add another light. When I rendered it, if I click this far right button over here, you can see it's going to show me what my final image looks like, and I needed another light. All I did was I went and grabbed the original one and I copied and pasted it. So I made a second one and I moved it over. Using the same grab tool, using the same thing, I just moved it over to see if I had enough light and it wasn't covered up. You don't have to do it. If you can't see something, then you do need another light, like in my case, and I'll show you why at the end. So you may need to add another light. That's just a copy paste as well. And so let's talk about exporting. Exporting is one of the most important things. And so we have to do it correctly in order to have a final product we can use. So what I'm going to do is come to this little printer icon, and I have to change a couple things. Make sure you change your end so it ends about where your animation does, or a little bit extra so you have time to cut it off. But change your end normally. We want to keep 24 frames a second. The first thing we need to change is this output, and I need to pick a folder. And so I'm going to, I've built a folder for this. I would make a folder, if you have one, a whole new folder just for this, and I'm going to pick here. I'm going to accept that location. I'm going to change the file format to FFmpeg video. FFmpeg video. And then lastly, I actually have to open this encoding area and go from Matroshka to MPEG-4. Those are the things I have to do. And now if I do that, I can render animation, come to render animation, and it should start going. Once I have that, once it's done rendering, once it's done everything, I actually can finish it up. Remember, it's not just doing it, the actual video. You have to have a little bit of context. Let's talk about this. We have WeVideo. If you've never done any sort of video editing before, WeVideo is a great free online thing, so it doesn't really matter what kind of computer you have. I'll show you this in a moment. But just remember, it's not just the animation. You need to have some kind of information detailing the transformation on screen. And I'll show you kind of the bare bones way to do that in a moment. What I'm doing an example video for you so you can see what that is like. So we can't just turn in the blank video of it doing its thing. We have to have some sort of kind of guide to show what's going on. So I'm going to start a new Wii video. If you have some other video editing format, if you like iMovie, if you like even After Effects, go for that. And this is for people who have never done any sort of editing. Wii Video is free and just one option. There's many, many other ones. Find one that makes sense for you. So I made a new account. I'm going to create a new video, and let's pretend let's pretend I haven't loaded that already in, and I'll show you how to load it in. So this is a plain what it looks like when you start one up. If you want to add your file, just like you saw that I had earlier, you're just going to go to Add, and you're going to browse through your computer to find it. I'm in my Geometry Project Blender, and I'm going to add my frames. So this is 10 seconds worth of animation. I had like 240 frames. And so I can add it, and I can put it right here in the video section. And if I want to zoom in, I'll come on down here and click the zoom button. I'm going to add some title cards in between. So maybe text. You can see there's a premium one. You have to upgrade. If you have the free version, you don't need that. Come down to free, come down to static. You can even just use like a basic text, whatever you have available. So let me add basic text. I can double click it to change the title, sort of transformations with, or you could say like by you, whatever you want to do, something like that. You can change your font, something fun and different and neat. And then you have your software. You have your timeline right here. This might be a little long, so if you want to shorten a clip, you can just cut it up. You can say, all right, I'm just going to cut it after a few seconds, and then delete that, and then you bring it here. Let's say I want to put a title right in between one of these two things happening. So if you see here, there's my translation and there's my rotation. So if I want to put a title in between that says rotation, kind of preparing the viewer for the rotation, I'll find where nothing's happening. Remember, I built in that time. And I'm just going to cut the timeline right there, move it over, and put something new in. Insert and push means you're just going to push the other thing back. And I can put something like rotation. I can do all sorts of formatting stuff. I can change a lot of things. I'm going to make this a little shorter. I can also grab it over here. Once again, this is just normal video editing stuff. If you have another software, please use whatever you're comfortable with. Make it as good as you can. So for example, after the translation, you see what's coming up is rotation, and then you see the rotation. Then we can cut there. So let me jump over to my completed one. This is the one I've done right here. You can see I have this. And it's just going to do a little intro. It's going to say a name. You're going to see one of my things. It's going to swap. See another one. And so on and so forth. All right, so that is the basics of what I have here. I'm going to finish and export it. I'm going to export it under my title that I need. If you see here, you're going to put your class and section, and then your last name and your first name. So I have that ready to go, and I'm going to export it, and I'm going to download it, and then I'm going to come over here to the Google Drive, and I'm going to upload it. I need to upload this before Tuesday at 3 p.m. File, and here it is an MP4. And so it's now in the thing, and I'm done. So let me go back to Blender and show you one more thing to consider, and that is how to think about reflections. Now, reflections are the ones that don't have like a straightforward way to do this, and I want to show you what I did. So what I did on reflections, if you see here, I have a cone that I've added. If you want to add something, you just come to Add. Mesh is like a normal shape, and you have cubes, circles, cylinders, cones, torus, that's also a donut, and a monkey. What I did is I added a cone, and first I take my cube and I just kind of move it down. I put a keyframe with it here, and then I put a keyframe with it below, and I just send it below so that instead of deleting it or getting rid of it, I just put it out of the camera. And then I bring my cone and a little sheet down. That sheet is just a mesh plane that I've rotated so it's up and down. That's why I needed the other light, because this light was being cut off. And then to show reflection, I'm just gonna kind of combine translation and rotation. So if you look here, I'll just play it first. I'm going to combine translation and reflection, if you see that. And so all I did was I did two different keyframes where I have it translating and reflecting, or translating and rotating in the same movement. So I set one, I turned it and put it there, and set the other keyframe. And it's going to find the way to do it both. I am not rotating it around the center. I'm just combined two different ones that we normally do, that we did in class, to do it. I didn't do it with a cube because I thought it'd be a little better with the cone, kind of showing the asymmetry of it flipping around. But that's why I chose to do that. Like I said, if you want to add, I went to Add and Mesh and Cone. I didn't get rid of the cube, like I said. I just lowered it and I raised these so I kept them out of the camera view, because remember, this is what's going to be exported. I don't care about over here. Over here I can hide stuff. As long as I can't see in the camera, I'm happy. So if you would like to go see my final product, I put it on Blackbaud. What I put up there is not the best you can do. It was just the most straightforward way I could do it. It was a what I made is a easy 14 out of 14. I would love to see you go above and beyond. What I did is just very straightforward, knocked out all of the requirements. Let me go back through those one more time. So we have exported as an MP4 from Blender, saved under the right name, be at least 15 seconds. The video I showed you was 30 seconds. I showed all four of those. I had information in those. Unique edition of my choosing. You'll have to watch it to find my unique edition, and turned in on time. Those are all the things. So I hope this video is helpful. If something wasn't helpful, please let me know. And we can try to make sure it is everything you need to do well in this. Thank you guys. I've really enjoyed this week with you all, and I can't wait to see what you make.